Hey there everyone, and happy Friday. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Lambers, continuing just to track those thunderstorm chances across the Gulf Coast so far for this morning, and especially heading into this afternoon. So you can see that radar behind me. It's looking wet out there and only going to look more green out there too as we do continue to watch those showers continue to push further inland. But also we do have tropical activity, 2 tropical storms, plus also an additional tropical wave that could potentially develop into something further. So let's dive right in. Let's go back to that outdoor view from our battleship camera. You can see those clouds over downtown Mobile. Really not looking like the best picture out there. It's those gray clouds. They're still fluffy, but continuing to move on through and going to bring increased rain showers and thunderstorms into the forecast area for today. So taking a look at radar right now, seeing some of those thunderstorms push on into Pensacola so far for today, also bringing some lightning with that too. So we're seeing that heavier precipitation moving to downtown Pensacola. Really the only place seeing thunderstorms so far for today. Right now, Grand Bay seeing some light rain showers, but also moving further up to our northwest near Chunchula, Gulf Crest, and Citronelle, seeing an isolated thunderstorm up there. Again, just bringing that rain, bringing that lightning, and then also with some of these storms, we do have to watch out for that potential today of bringing some of those gusty winds as well. Let's check out our futurecast for today. We're going to start off this morning at 10 a.m. seeing some of those coastal showers mainly. As we continue closer towards lunchtime and to the early afternoon, we will start to increase our coverage and the intensity of some of these storms because we're going to see some peaks of sunshine, and that brings in that daytime heating and also increases instability as well. So again, this is something to keep an eye on, and we will continue to monitor any of these storms as they push on through. The biggest risk for today going to be those gusty winds, so make sure you are being careful and staying inside. And as we can continue on into the afternoon, we do have 80% chance of rain showers for today, so most everywhere will at one point see these rain showers and these thunderstorms continuing on through 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. By the time we get to 8 p.m., it's going to die down on the thunderstorms, but still looking at some of those rain showers in the picture, and those will continue to stay isolated heading into the overnight hours. So this is going to be part of what we're seeing with Tropical Storm Hanna, bringing in abundance of Gulf moisture to the area, so increased rain chances, but also make sure for anyone heading on down to the beaches, be careful with those increased rip current risks too. But let's go ahead and check in on the tropics because we do have a lot going on. We currently have 2 tropical storms and a tropical wave. So let's touch on the one that's closest to us right now. That's going to be Tropical Storm Hanna. This became a tropical storm last night around 10 o'clock, and you can really see that movement in it. Again, this is a broad system, so that's a good sight to see is when it is so broad and that those sustained winds aren't that high with it. So they're at 45 miles per hour. It is increasing. This storm is strengthening. The other tropical storm is weakening slightly. So it's 2 different storms and both acting in different ways. Right now, those sustained winds at 45 miles per hour, continuing to move west-northwest at 9 miles per hour. And where it is expected to make landfall is going to be on that southern coastal region of Texas, so far away from the Gulf Coast, and expecting those wind speeds to be at 65 miles per hour by the time it makes landfall, possibly Saturday morning. So not going to be hurricane strength. 74 miles per hour is going to be that Category 1 hurricane strength. So keeping with that tropical storm. But in this most latest update, they did add on some miles per hour wind speeds onto that once it does make that landfall approach. So we'll continue to monitor that. Again, expecting it to stay a tropical storm. Already multiple tropical storm warnings in that area for us, just seeing that increased moisture for today and also that rip current risk. Checking in on those models for Tropical Storm Hanna, all in agreement with it. And so luckily all moving that way and going to head into further inland for Mexico. I'm going to go ahead and check in on our 2020 storm names. We're quickly marking these off. We've already seen our 8th named storm of the season. Typically the 7th and the 8th come late September. Already in late July, we're marking those names off. 5 out of the 8 named storms for this season have all been record-breaking storms, being the earliest on record for that letter. So that came from Cristobal, Edward, Faye, Gonzalo, and now Hanna. So 5 out of the 8 have been record-setting, breaking a lot of those records that were set all in 2005. So this Hanna was from Harvey. So that would be Tropical Storm Harvey in 2005. I know that there was a hurricane just a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, but those just reset every 6 years. So they reuse them every 6 years in case it's not a name that needs to be retired. So just an interesting fact about that, but just to keep you updated on what we are on the names, and that next name storm will be the I name. Checking back in on the tropics, let's go ahead and check in on Tropical Storm Gonzalo. Let's go ahead and check in on Tropical Storm Gonzalo, because this is going to be that other tropical storm that we're just keeping an eye on. A lot smaller than what we're seeing with Tropical Storm Hanna, and also that has increased wind speeds within this one. But the latest advisory did just come out, and those wind speeds are decreasing. So only at 50 miles per hour, but picking up in its speed and movement. Now it's moving westerly at 18 miles per hour. So picking up in that wind speed, but also, or losing that wind speed, but also picking up in that track of that movement. As we check out the track on where it's going, just staying southerly of Puerto Rico and Jamaica, so it's a better track within it. Right now they did take off that hurricane risk, so with it, they're not expecting this to become a Category 1 hurricane. We'll still continue to watch it, but it is so far entering into unconducive environments for it to develop further. So again, it's at 50 miles per hour right now. It would have to jump up to that 74 mile per hour mark for it to be that hurricane strength. So most likely going to be staying Tropical Storm Gonzalo, which is a fantastic sight to see, especially for those small islands towards that area. We're going to go ahead and check out those models. As you can see, most are in agreement of that southern track that it would take south of Jamaica and Puerto Rico, and just continuing further on towards the Caribbean Sea. So good sight to see, especially when it does reach those unfavorable environments where there's high wind shear, but mainly dry air aloft above it. Now this is going to be the newest one. We just got this wave came out this morning, so the newest addition to the National Hurricane Center for what they are currently eyeing, and that's going to be a tropical wave off the western coast of Africa. Over the next 48 hours, this does have a 0% chance of formation, but over the next 5 days, we're looking at a 30% chance of development. So it is decently high for that 5-day chance, especially as it's heading western towards the Atlantic. Actually, currently where Tropical Storm Gonzalo currently is. So it's moving to those favorable environment conditions where we could possibly see development with it. So by the time it heads to that area, it would be early next week, but this is something that we do need to keep an eye on. Early model guidance has honestly been showing some signs of development within this. So this is something that we do need to keep an eye on here on the Gulf Coast. We'll continue to keep you updated on what this wave is doing. But again, for the next 5 days, that's 30%. And so it wouldn't be making its way towards where that yellow spotting is for the far western portion of it until Monday or Tuesday. Checking in on our temperatures right now across the Gulf Coast, 80 degrees in Mobile, 79 Gulf Shores, 86 in Destin, and 77 in Grove Hill. So seeing those 70s warming up into those 80s, but daytime highs today only going to be in the mid to upper 80s. So still continuing to track some of these storms, but just staying scattered for the most part heading into the afternoon. But again, most areas going to be seeing some sort of rain shower for today along with those thunderstorms. Checking out our SPC risk for today, we are under 0 out of 5. That's going to be that general thunder risk zone. Just means that we have the potential to see those thunderstorms today. Some of them could have those gusty winds, that frequent lightning, and also those heavier downpours. Isolated flash flooding cannot be ruled out of the picture, especially as we check out our rainfall amounts today. A lot of areas picking up possibly an inch, half an inch up to an inch, but also some isolated areas could pick up 2 to 4 inches with this rain as it begins to move on through here on the Gulf Coast from Tropical Storm Hanna. So just continue to keep that in mind, that we could possibly see some isolated flash flooding in some areas. Let's go ahead and check out your dog walking forecast for today with our Kobe Subaru Dog of the Day. This is Sadie. Thank you to Ashley for sending in Sadie. As you can see, yellow paws to start off this morning, and as we continue into our afternoon, looking at red paws out there with temperatures warming up into the upper 80s, but also with that increased shower and thunderstorm risk zone. That's what we're continuing to monitor. Also, I want to touch really quickly on our beach forecast, because this is a very real risk here on the Gulf Coast, and that's going to be that rip current risk. We're continuing to monitor it. Very rough seas, very strong rip current, so you don't want to mess around whenever you do see those red flags out there. So we've seen those red flags, double red flags in some areas, but I do know today Orange Beach is flying that red flag. So just make sure you're using caution, being safe out there. If you're not a strong swimmer, do not go in the water. But also we're continuing to track those thunderstorms too. So also it's not making for the best beach weather. And as we continue to watch that lightning out there too, that does become another risk in itself. Let's go ahead and check out your full 7-day outlook. Friday, today we're looking at that 80% chance of rain showers and thunderstorms. Checking in on tomorrow, 70%, but we are staying in the 50 to 70% chances in the coming next 7 days. So it's staying wet, it's staying warm. Just not the best forecast, and especially by the time we get into next week, we're just stuck in that typical summer-like pattern that we're used to here on the Gulf Coast. So again, it's not looking that great out here, and I'm reading just some of the forecasts here, and I do see that Shane Williams says that it's getting hammered in Pensacola. Also, I see Ponyboy says Category 4. I'm not for sure if you're asking about the hurricane. Just a quick little note. I don't have a graphic for it, but heading over towards Hawaii, there is actually a Category 3. It might have already been upgraded to a Category 4. It's just 1 mile per hour off of being a Category 4. Most likely it is. Actually, I'm going to check on that really fast because I'm curious. No, that's still Category 3. Okay, so we have a Category 3 hurricane just off towards Hawaii, so the complete opposite side, just further off in the Pacific. So just an interesting thing to know, there is Hurricane Douglas. That's going to be a Category 3 hurricane just near Hawaii, and that has sustained winds of 120 miles per hour. So nowhere near here, not going to be affecting us, but just another quick thing just to check in on, and also just a fun thing to keep in mind, and also just think of the people in Hawaii that are experiencing some of that heavy rainfall that's going to be coming from that. So that's all I have for you guys for today. Again, happy Friday. We're almost to the weekend, almost there, just tracking those rain showers and those thunderstorms for the afternoon. It will be staying wet in most areas. We'll be keeping some of those showers, but Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith will be in this afternoon. Actually, no, sorry. Meteorologist Matt Barentine will be in this afternoon to continue to track some of the tropical development with it, and he is very knowledgeable on the tropical systems here, so he's a great person to have, especially during these times. So tune in for the 4, 5, 9, and 10, as he will have all the information that you could ever want on these tropical systems. So we hope to see you all there. Have a great Friday. Stay dry, stay cool, and